So NTV and the Daily Monitor have been expelled from covering news at the Parliament of Uganda. Yeah, NTV. So much has been happening while I've been away. I am in such a mess. I'm trying to fix my computer. I don't know if I overworked it by the videos that I made last week, because last week was a record high for me because I posted 5 videos. I mean, 4 videos. But if you're to add, almost 5 videos, I think, and a few shorts, And I feel like maybe my computer is telling me you are supposed to do a lot better in terms of maintaining me like you are. So this is just a message now to remind you to subscribe. Support my journey in producing content. I feel so bad because I'm missing out a lot. I need this computer to edit. I need this computer in filming because, use my external webcam. And yes, maybe I should get a camera. That way I can lift the load off my computer. But you get the drill. Anyway, we are talking about the Daily Monitor and NTV. What does this mean for democracy in Uganda? So much is happening. In Tanzania, there is an uprising that is trying to remove or to get the current president, who has literally imprisoned the entire opposition and announced herself as the winner of that election. What do we learn from Tanzania? What should we do in preparation for the 2026 elections? Because, in news on the campaign trail for Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu specifically, aka the People's President, was already turned heads in Kotido in Karamoja, which is supposed to be such a faraway place, because it goes against the narrative that NUP is just in Buganda region, the central region. But what happened to him? Well, he was attacked at his hotel in Lira, and he suspected that there was actually an attempt on his life. His bodyguard, High Tower, was targeted, and I think news coming in, he should be abducted, I guess. So they're really trying to clean up his security and take away anyone that goes against what they are trying to achieve, making it impossible for him to win this upcoming election. So I would like to ask you a question, those of you who are so hell-bent at supporting this regime. I want to ask you 2 questions. If Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu does not pose any threat, as you always constantly tell us, forcing us to assume that it does not pose any threat to the status quo, why then is there so much energy in sabotaging his campaign? Why? I'd like you to answer that question, please. I'm going to get to the main topic of the video today, because I will go more extensive in regards to this. I will answer this question in my next video in regards to why I think there is always powers that be that are making it impossible for this man to have a flawless campaign, diverting him away from the main roads, abducting his security, making it impossible for him to get a night's rest at any hotel. Last time out when he campaigned, he was forced to spend the night in his car. Make it make sense. Why do they sabotage him to these levels? I mean, at the end of the day, we are talking about countless political prisoners whose only crime is supporting this man. So if indeed it does not pose any threat, why is there constant sabotage? Now, on to the main topic of the video. Today, I would like to talk about the Daily Monitor and NTV. This is the only mainstream media Ugandans can be guaranteed of following the affairs in their country without any sugarcoating, reporting the news as it is. If there is someone that has been abducted, despite the likes of NBS, who have so much energy in covering the negative side of the opposition, literally providing excuses as to why the government of Uganda, the dictatorship of Uganda, is hell-bent at torturing, abducting, or even unaliving members of the opposition. Trust NBS to make sure that they will give every excuse on behalf of the government that this is indeed the kind of democracy Ugandans should feel they deserve. Yeah. And the NTV and the Daily Monitor, unlike New Vision and NBS, they stand on business. They stand on business. I remember watching an interview of one of the people that worked for NTV Media House, and which he provided us an insight as to why they never get exclusive interviews of the president or General Mohozi, because they are not in the business of staging interviews. They are not in that business. Their interviews are tailor-made for information that is authentic, without stage managing pre-prepared questions and answers, just to make sure that only one side of the bread is buttered, and that is the side of the dictatorship. No. So it does not come as a surprise as to why these particular media houses have been expelled from covering any events at the parliament. It shouldn't even take us as a surprise. So I'm going to look through what people are saying in the comments. Daily Monitor put out a post with a few hard-hitting headlines as an example. They captioned this with what's the fairest way for public officials or institutions to respond to media coverage they believe is unfair? What is the best way? So people in the comments, Kivirango, Hussein, stand firm, the only professional media institution we still have in Uganda. Yeah, stand firm. But before I go into the next comment, let me just read out the few headlines that the Daily Monitor has published. One of them is "Goodbye, Rule of Law, till we meet again." Oh, yeah. And there was a huge picture of the Parliament of Uganda. And I think that is when the Parliament of Uganda passed the infamous bill that authorizes the military to court-martial civilians simply because of their political opinion. Yeah. Goodbye, rule of law. So the rising food prices impact households. Now, you would think that Ugandans need to know this. You would think that Ugandans need to understand why these food prices are impacting so many households. You would think that this is information that Ugandans should be having. Well, this offends the government. NRM hands the rope to its MPs. Yeah, NRM hands the rope to its MPs. I cannot give you the context of that because I don't think I read that article. But yeah, you get what I'm trying to say here. Anyway, let me get to the next comment. Okoth Anthony, always stay by the side of the truth. You will thank me later. Anger is a sign of a bankrupt leader or official, in regards to their moral standings, of course. I loved this. Goodbye, rule of law. Wow. Yeah. Someone is uploading one of the headlines that the Daily Monitor published. Ugandans stand with the Nation Media Group. And that highlights everything. Comment after comment. People understand. People are awake, which is why this channel exists, the Uganda Awakening. People know that without the Nation Media, we don't have fair news coming out of any mainstream media house, unfortunately. So what do you think about the boycott and the expulsion of the media house, Nation Media Group, away from the parliament? What do you think? Do you think we are into a situation whereby continuous censorship of fair news is going to impact us in a way that undermines democracy? Let me know what you think in the comment section. Until we meet again in the next video. Cheers. Bye.